The Three Gardens of the Everlight Kingdom, a bedtime story inspired by chapter 25, Gospel of Matthew. Once upon a time, in a quiet realm kissed by moonbeams and wrapped in fields of silver wheat, there lay a kingdom called Everlight, a place not known for its riches or power, but for its gentleness and peace. In Everlight, every soul was entrusted with something special, something uniquely their own. The kingdom was watched over by a mysterious king, one who was both near and far, silent and yet always present. He had gone on a long journey, but before he left, he gave a gift to every villager, not gold or jewels, but a garden planted with care in each heart. And so, every soul in Everlight had their own garden to tend, the Garden of the Lanterns, in a peaceful part of the kingdom, where the trees grew low and the nights shimmered with soft stars, lived 10 gardeners of light. Their gardens held not only flowers and herbs, but tall lanterns, beautiful glass lamps that needed oil to glow through the night. They had heard that the king would return one evening, and they wanted to be ready to welcome him. 5 of them kept their lanterns full. Every day, they added fresh oil, trimmed the wicks, and made sure their flames could shine even in the darkest night. The other 5, they meant to, but life drifted by like a soft breeze. Tomorrow, they said, we still have time. One moonless night, a trumpet sounded across the hills, a warm and glowing melody. The king is coming, came a whisper on the wind. The 5 wise gardeners lit their lanterns, and their light stretched across the fields like glowing threads of hope. But the others found their oil gone, and their lanterns would not burn. They ran to search for more oil, but by the time they returned, the gate to the garden of welcome was closed. Still, inside the garden, the king gently smiled and said, "Let your light be ready, not out of fear, but out of love." The garden of the gifts. Farther, down the valley, in the sun-dappled village of Miara, the king had given each gardener a handful of seeds, some many, some few, but each according to what they could carry. One gardener, named Lior, received 5 golden seeds. He planted them right away, cared for them with joy, and watched as his garden bloomed with 5 kinds of rare and lovely trees. Another, named Sela, received 2 seeds. She planted them with care, and in time, her garden grew into a quiet grove where birds sang and people came to rest. But a third, named Navin, took his single seed and hid it in the earth. He feared losing it, feared it might not grow. At least this way, he thought, it will still be here when the king returns. And return the king did. He looked at Lior's trees and Sela's grove and said, "Well done, faithful ones. You were trusted with little, and you created much." To Navin, he knelt gently and asked, "Why did you not let it grow?" "I was afraid," Navin whispered. "Let love guide you next time," the king replied, his voice like water in a quiet stream. For seeds are meant to be planted, not hidden. The garden of compassion, on the edge of the kingdom, where the fields met the sea. There was a garden unlike any other. It had no walls, no gates, just open meadows where people came and went freely. In this place, the king had left no instructions but one. Whatever you do for the least of these, you do for me. Some villagers offered bread to the hungry wanderers. Others gave cloaks to those shivering under starlight. Children shared their toys. Elders offered shelter, and the garden bloomed with kindness. But some passed through with their hands closed and eyes turned away. When the king returned, he sat beneath a tree in the center of the garden and called the people close. To those who loved the stranger, fed the hungry, and comforted the lonely, he said, "You welcomed me, even when you didn't know it." The people looked at one another in wonder. "But when did we see you, Lord?" they asked. He smiled. "Every time you loved, without asking for anything in return." And so, the garden of compassion became the brightest in all of Everlight, not because of its flowers, but because of the hearts that bloomed within it. That night, the stars over Everlight seemed to sing. Lanterns glowed on every windowsill. Seeds pushed gently through the soil. And in the garden by the sea, laughter danced on the wind. And though the king walked quietly among them, the people knew they were never really alone. His return was not a sudden surprise, but the fulfillment of a love that had always been near. Sleep now, child of Everlight. May your lantern be full, your seeds be planted, and your heart be open. For love watches, love grows, and love remembers.